Namaste. I, JVN Sheetal Singh, Assistant Professor at Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur, in Faculty of Pharmaceutical Science. So today we will study the pharmacology of drug acting on the peripheral nervous system of Unit 2. And in this pharmacology of drug acting on peripheral nervous system, PNS, we will first start from the organization and function of ANS, then we will come to the PNS. So let's start the organization and function of ANS. So what is ANS? Autonomous Nervous System. Autonomic nervous system along with the endocrine system coordinate the regulation and integration of bodily function. The ANS is the part of the peripheral nervous system that act as a control system, functioning largely below the level of consciousness and control visceral function. The ANS affect heart rate, digestion, respiration rate, salivation, perspiration, diameter of the pupil, and maturation, urination, and sexual arousal. Whereas most of its actions are involuntary, such as, for example, breathing, work in tandem with the conscious mind. All these are the part of the ANS. Now, the ANS system is divided into two autonomical divisions. The central nervous system, CNS, which is post of the brain and spinal cord. So the CNS composed of brain and the spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system, which include the neuron located outside the brain and spinal cord. That is any nerves that entered or leave the CNS. Now, the peripheral nervous system is subdivided into the efferent division, the neuron of which carries signal away from the brain and spinal cord to the peripheral tissue, and the afferent division, the neurons of which bring information from the peripheral to the CNS. Now, the afferent neuron provide the sensory input to modulate the function of the afferent division through reflex arc, that is neural pathway that mediate a reflex action. New nervous system is peripheral nervous system and central nervous system. Afferent division and afferent division and afferent division. In the afferent division, it is autonomic nervous system and somatic nervous system. In autonomic nervous system, it is enteric, parasympathetic, and sympathetic. So this is the organization of the nervous system. So now let's move toward the functional division within the nervous system. The afferent proportion of the peripheral nervous system is further divided into two major functional subdivisions, the somatic and the autonomic system. The somatic afferent neurons are involved in voluntarily control of function such as contraction of the skeletal muscle essential for the locomotion. On the other hand, the autonomic system regulates the everyday requirement of vital body's function without the conscious participants of the mind. It is composed of afferent neuron that innervate the smooth muscles of the viscera, cardiac muscles, vasculature, and the exocrine gland, thereby controlling the digestion, cardiac output, blood flow, and the granular secretion. Anatomy of the autonomic nervous system is first the brain stem or the spinal cord is having a cell body. Then in this the ganglionic neurons is there. So the ganglionic transmission is take place. Then after the ganglionic transfer, it is post-ganglionic neuron or neuroeffective transmitter is there. Then the effector, then it goes to the effector organ. Function of the sympathetic nervous system. Effect of stimulation of the sympathetic division. The effect of sympathetic output is to increase heart rate and blood pressure, to mobilize the energy store of the body, and to increase blood flow to skeletal muscles and the heart, while diverting flow from the skin and internal organ. Sympathetic stimulation result in dilation of the pupil and the bronchioles. It also affects the gastrointestinal motility and the function of the bladder and the sexual organ. Now, the sympathetic nervous system tend to function as a unit and it offers discharge as a complete system. For example, during severe exercise or in reaction to fear, this system, which is fusion distribution of post-ganglionic fiber, is involved in a wide area of the physiological activity, but it is not essential for life. So, this is the main question. You must know how the difference between the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system and how they work. Okay, so in the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, there are different stimulus which work. The parasympathetic nervous system and eye, lacrimal gland, salivary gland, heart, lungs, upper GI, lower GIT tract, then bladder and genital area is controlled by parasympathetic nervous system. But structure in heart and neck, especially structure of eye, blood vessels, salivary glands, and heart, lungs, adrenal cortex, liver, GIT tract, bladder, genital, blood vessels, sweat glands, and all these are covered under the sympathetic nervous system. Now, the parasympathetic nervous system, cranial and scleral outflow. Approx 75% of the parasympathetic nervous system fibers are in vagus nerve, cranial nerve 10, and most preganglionic fiber pass uninterrupted to the organ as postganglionic neurons are located in the wall of the organ, very short postganglionic fibers. What now? You must know the question which always arises: what is fight and flight response? So this is your first question: what is fight and flight response? So first, the change experienced by the body during emerging have been referred to as the fight or the flight response. These reactions are triggered both by the direct sympathetic activation of the infector organ and by stimulation of the adrenal medulla to release epinephrine and lesser amount of norepinephrine. These hormones enter the bloodstream and promote response in effector organ that contain the adrenergic receptor. So the main function, let's move to the main function of the parasympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic division maintain essential bodily functions such as digestive process and elimination of waste and is required for life. It usually acts to oppose or balance the action of the sympathetic division and is generally dominant over the sympathetic system in rest and digest situation. The parasympathetic system is not a functional entity as such, and it never discharges as a complete system. If it did, it would produce the massive undesirable and unpleasant symptoms. Instead, discreted parasympathetic fiber are activated separately and the system function to affect the specific organ such as the stomach or eye. Now, what is the dual intervention? Dual intervention, most organs in the body are intervened by both division of the autonomical nervous system and thus the vagal parasympathetic intervention show the heart rate and sympathetic intervention increases the heart rate despite the dual intervention. One system usually predominant in the controlling and activity of a given organ. For example, in the heart, the vagus nerve is the predominant factor for controlling rate. So, this type of antagonism is considered to be dynamic and is fine tuned at any given time to control the homeostatic organ function. Now, are all organs have dual intervention? This is the main question you always arise. So, although most tissue receive dual intervention, but some effector organs such as adrenal medulla, kidney, pilomotor muscles, sweat glands receive the interventions only from the sympathetic system. But the control of blood pressure is also maintained by sympathetic activity with essential no participation by the parasympathetic system. Now, let's move towards the function of somatic motor nervous system. The afferent somatic nervous system differs from the autonomic system in that a single myelinated motor neuron originating in the CNS travel directly to the skeletal muscles without the mediation of ganglia. As noted earlier, the somatic nervous system is under voluntary control, whereas the autonomic is an involuntary system. So there is another questions which commonly arise difference among sympathetic, parasympathetic and motor nerve. So the sympathetic system is distributed to the effectors throughout the body, whereas the parasympathetic distribute it much more limited. Furthermore, the sympathetic fibers families to a much greater extent. A preganglionic sympathetic fiber may traverse a considerable distance of the sympathetic chain and pass through several ganglia before it finally synapses with postganglionic neuron. Also, its terminal may contact with a large number of postganglionic neurons in some ganglia. The ratio of preganglionic axon to the ganglion cell may be 1 ratio 20 or more. These organizations permit a diffuse discharge of the sympathetic system. In addition, sympathetic intervention overlaps, so one ganglion cell may be supplied by several preganglionic factors. Now, the parasympathetic system, in contrast, has terminal ganglia very near to within the organ intervention and thus is more circumstance in its interference or influence. In some organs, a 1 ratio 1 relationship between the number of preganglionic and postganglionic fiber has been suggested, but the ratio of preganglionic vagal fiber to the ganglionic cell is plexus and have estimation as 1 ratio 8,000. Hence, This restriction between the two systems does not apply to all sides. So the cell bodies of the somatic motors neurons resides in the ventral horns of the spinal cord. The axon divided into many branches, each of which interweaves a single muscle fiber, so that more than 100 muscle fiber may be supplied by one motor neuron to form a motor unit. So this is all about the this is little bit, actually we have covered the little bit about the sympathetic system and the CNS. Hope you will understand this, as I have given you the questions, so you can also take one more question. What are the difference among the sympathetic, parasympathetic and motor nerve in term of distribution, fiber and function? So I will give you the answer of this question in the next video. Hope you will understand this. Thank you and namaste.